some folks to mute.
Actually,
Oh, now I see it. There it is. We're live. We're live now.
I took the flower one. It's like,
It just popped on a notification.
like,
Yes.
plug it in. I'm like, plug it in.
All right, can some folks mute? All right, let's do this over again. All right, let's start this thing off. Do the Pledge of Allegiance over again. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance 3 times and within this hour, I assume. For at least those of us in the house. So, all right, let's do Pledge of Allegiance again. Senator Reedy's got the flag behind him. Let's go for it. Pledge allegiance to
the flag
of the
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty
justice.
and justice for all.
All right, we'll go through, introduce the Florida members we have with us, unless a fifth or sixth has jumped on. I don't think so. Delegate Chris Tomlinson, representing District 5.
Delegate April Rose, representing District 5.
Senator Chris West, representing District 42.
Senator Justin Reedy, representing District 5.
Minutes from last Friday's meeting should have been distributed. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
So, second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And then we're gonna move on to, we've got former delegate, now Commissioner Susan Krebs, who's gonna explain to us what's the story behind the District and Planning Commission bill. And if we have any questions, she'll be able to answer them.
Yes, thank you. Basically, this bill gives the authority for the county commissioners to enact a local law to do certain things. And it would be to have if they wanted to have a separate, one or more separate planning districts in addition, or they set up how they want, in addition to what we already are authorized in law to have. And the reason that we need this is because being a commissioner form of government, we've got to get our authorities from the legislature. And most of the counties that are charter government, they can do this within their own charter. And I think different counties do it differently. But this is basically enabling, it lets us divide the county into districts, any number. What we've envisioned maybe is to just have the other growth area of the Freedom District be a separate, like the towns have their separate planning commissions. And then they could look at things. It would divide the work up. It would put more attention on some of the things that are happening with regarding to zoning and just looking at plans, and which we've had some challenges of late that have caused a lot of turmoil. And this allows more than one. So if we down the road wanted to do a Finksburg or something like that, we could. I don't see that. It's just enabling. The only thing I'd ask on this, we're trying to make it as broad as possible so that we could have the options of how to set this up if we choose. The only thing I ask over what we had submitted to you on page 3, and I sent that over last night, on line 5, we just want to strike that line 5 and 6 because that puts one more hoop in there that we might want to do, but we'd rather make that decision when we're discussing this versus just having it in the law, which means submitting stuff back to the other planning commission. It just adds redundancy. It would be better to be silent on it. I've talked to the county attorney, so striking the 2 that are in there, and then striking line 7 is the same thing, and then just saying submit proposed plans and regulations, including the text, blah blah blah, to the commissioners for approval. Because at the end of the day, the county commissioners need to be the responsible party, which they're supposed to be now. But this clearly makes that say that. So it's just enabling legislation to have a separate group, sort of like right now we have 10 growth areas, 8 are towns. They have their own planning commissions and their own BZAs. And then our staff still looks at the zoning code. They still enforce things. They are the zoning administrators, but they all do their planning. They review the plans. They make recommendations to the developer. And there's more local control of it. Right now, our largest planning area, which is the Freedom District, has 1 person out of 7 on the planning commission, and it's been a mess. It's been a disaster of what occurred because there weren't a lot of eyes looking at it when some of the stuff got adopted. So this hopefully would split the work up. It would allow us to be able to just figure out how we'd like to make this work, but we're trying to make it split the work up better so there's more local control over that district, just like the others in our county. And again, this is totally just enabling. It just says may enact a law. We'd have to do it.
Okay, so we need to do an amendment. You're saying we need
Well,
to do an amendment
you
to what
haven't
was,
dropped this. You haven't dropped this yet. Is that correct? This is just this you had to drop. You said
I,
LR. The bill's not been
yeah,
dropped on
you're
it.
right.
So all you'd have to do is
You're right.
strike it. So you're going to have to, I go to bill draft, just strike this, put the word, as I said, right in there, with the word submit in there, and at the very end, put for approval and strike the lines right where I've stricken them. You have to sign, somebody at bill drafting will have to sign off on it, that you're just trying to take that restriction away so we can have the flexibility. And then you drop it, it won't have the extra words in it. It'll be just how we want it.
Yeah,
It'll be clean. It'll be clean when we put it, when the bill is in.
could you just send us an email, put in writing so we don't screw this up?
Well, what I did, I sent you the
Oh,
thing
you
last
did?
night.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you go in on this particular bill, you just go in the bill and print it out. And on on page 3, it has it struck, right where I want to strike the lines. And I put a word submit instead of certify. And I struck the next line and then the words for approval. It's written on page 3. And if you go to build and just say, hey, we want to take this out, and they'll strike it, redo it, and then they'll initial it, and then it will drop correctly. And then, so these words will be out when the bill comes out, and it'll be clean. You understand?
Okay.
And when it comes back, I don't know when you'll get it back. It should be pretty simple. And they'll strike it right on the piece of paper, and they'll sign it. And then when you
Yeah,
drop it, they just won't put it.
Yeah, I just did this the other day with something. I know.
And I'll look
I
at
was
it.
thinking,
I'll be down there Monday. I'll be down for district night, and I'll be there early. I can look at it. I can even walk it over with you. And then it'll be a clean bill. You won't have to explain why this stuff was struck. It'll just be how we wanted it. It was too much language in there. Okay. And
Okay.
again, it's just enabling. It gives us the flexibility that I think we need to organize as we see fit in the future. And there are a number of ways to do it, but I think this will give us options this year. And I will be happy to come down and testify, explain it. I'll meet with the folks why. I think I have that in a email as well. But anyway,
Yeah,
you got
sounds,
that?
sounds
Can you
good.
put it on both? Can you put it on both sides in case we have trouble on one side?
We generally put all of the delegation bills on both sides, except for the
Okay.
bond authority. Yep.
Okay. Is anybody have questions about it?
And the way to do it in the Senate, I think, again, is just make it a delegation bill, right?
Yes, yes, this would be a
Yep.
delegation bill.
Yeah.
Carroll, in fact, that's the way the one I'm looking at is it's the Carroll County Senators.
Yeah,
I'm
we've
like,
already
Chris,
drafted it. Yeah, we've already drafted it. We can make the tweak that you referenced to make the language cleaner.
And Chris, I'm not sure if you've got this request or not. I'm just looking, it's Carroll County Senators. I didn't even see that. I don't know if you got the draft or not, but you could just ask for the cross file
yeah,
to be
yeah,
drafted.
we have a draft. Yeah, it's sitting on
Okay.
my desk.
And just make them be the same. Make them be the same, and they'll be cross-filed, and they'll be delegation bill. And I'll be happy to come and talk to anybody that needs to be talked to about it.
Um,
I'll carry the water. I don't expect you to do it.
I can't remember if it was you or somebody else. Did you tell me that Baltimore County has a
Baltimore-
residential and a commercial plan, two separate?
Yeah, I think a lot of counties they can do things how they want because they're either a code. There's only 3 counties left that either aren't code or aren't charter. They have so much more control of doing this themselves without having to go through getting it authorized. And I don't think people understand that. So they're all a little nuanced on how they do things, on how the commissioners get involved, how much control the planning. But right now in Carroll County, our planning commission has 7 people paid $125 a day. They meet twice a month. And the amount of responsibility on them to write zoning, do master plans, implement master plans, it's not working. It's too much. And we've got to get some more oversight back to us. And if we break this up like the towns do, we got, like I said, 8 towns do this themselves. I think we will be much more efficient because right now, what we're doing is putting out fires. That's why we're having a deferral right now, is because of what happened of not having oversight over some of this stuff and looking at and now we're realizing, hey, We've got some major issues that need to be resolved, and we're bringing in a consultant. We passed that yesterday, and they're coming in to help us get this. The person that was responsible for a lot of this, two of them are gone, but it's still in place, and we need to get it straightened out. So I think it would make us have a better governance model in the county, and then we need to put our own some other if we do this, and I think we hopefully will. We need to put a better governance model in place as well, because we're the elected body and we don't even see any of this stuff, or very little of it.
Delegate
And I
Rose.
think Baltimore County, Chris, you can tell me if I'm wrong. I think Baltimore County divides it between some commercial and residential. And I was talking to Congressman Olszewski about it the other day, and he suggested I talk to Steve Lafferty, just how they do it there. They're way bigger, but I plan to talk to some of my colleagues about how their organizations work. I've talked to Queen Anne's County already. So.
Okay.
Delegate Rose.
Thank you. And thanks, Sue, for bringing this. And I just wanted to have on the record, I think this is a really good idea, specifically in Carroll County, because so much of our growth must be in that district, specifically down there in the southern part. This is an ongoing issue. So for us to be able to have the ability to break that apart, to really deal with the complexity and the challenges in that, I think this is a really good way to do it. So I just want to be on the record that I think this is a great way to go.
And the one other thing I didn't mention, the one thing we could do, and probably it should have been done a long time ago, there's only 1 or 0 people ever on the planning commission from the area. And they haven't done field trips in 10 years. So they haven't like gone and seen because it's again, a citizen board. They're from all over the county, and it's a lot to go and actually see things on the ground. But we could make the board be mandated that we have more citizens from that area, 3 or 4, so they have more say. However, that then dilutes, we have a big farming community and we've got other unincorporated areas, so we don't want to dilute their say in the other unincorporated areas. Because if we do that, then they're diluted, the farming community and whatever. So this way, they could still, this is just my vision of it, they could still make sure they take care of that, put the energy where they need to, whether it's solar on ag or whatever. And then this group could put the energy on this planning designated area, and everybody have more opportunity to put better policies in place and really spend more time doing quality work versus quantity of work.
Well, we're going to try to get this thing moved forward to give the commissioners the option. And yeah, and I mean, we appreciate the work that the folks on the commission do. And I think, but I think the point is made that trying to get understood the desire to have a little more opportunity in the growth, the one big growth area that's not a town in the county. We will put this in. I do have to warn you, I'm a little concerned about getting the bill changed, and we have to drop Monday. So if we can't get in this, I'm just speaking on the Senate side. If we can't, we're for the amendment's fine. If we determine that we wouldn't get it back before the drop date deadline Monday, then we might drop the bill and then just do an amendment in committee, which I don't think will be a problem. But so
No,
we'll
just bring. I mean, sometimes. I mean, this particular amendment just strikes out one. It's something we should put in our rules versus having it in the law. Sometimes they'll do it while you're standing there if it's simple enough. I think this is simple. They don't have to like put it
we'll
back to
see.
the bill
Yeah,
review.
I understood. No, I know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm flagging just in case we have.
I got you.
We'll drop it.
I
Yeah.
always like to keep it as simple as possible and not as clean as possible, so it doesn't have to be
No,
amended.
I agree. I agree. We don't want a lot. You don't want too many things in law. No, I got you.
No, and I should have caught this. Our county attorney wrote it, and then I went and talked to him. He said, "You're right. We were tying our hands, forcing it back through a different review," and so it just simplifies it. So hopefully it'd be as simple, and sometimes they'll do it with you standing there, but I understand. I want to get it in.
On the Senate side, it's this Monday.
Do what?
Sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. That's
It's
my
this Monday
understanding.
or the next Monday.
My understanding was it this Monday?
The Senate is this Monday, the House is next.
Oh, that's yeah. So we're this Monday. So right.
It's the 9th and the 16th, I think.
Yeah, but Susan's right, possibly that sometimes if you're just striking one thing, they'll let you do it. We'll get into it, but we'll make sure it's not the end of the world. We'll figure it out.
And I sent it to you, with the strikes through it again, and just, there's two word there, the word submit it changes to the word certify, and at the very end, to the county commissioner of Carroll County for approval. And that way it makes sure that we have to have some skin in the game.
Understood. No, that's good.
So it's just, if you just take this over, print out what I sent you, hand it to them, see what they say.
Susan, can you tell me why there's highlighting on the other page? Is that anything that needs to change?
I did that just to make sure you knew that it's an enabling bill. I
Okay,
just,
but we don't need to change anything there.
no,
Okay,
no,
great.
no,
Okay.
no. I just did it to show that this is enabling. This is not making us do anything. It's just giving us that ability.
Great.
So good pickup, Meg. And what did you want to do this on? Any other questions, or do you want to go to the other bill?
No, I mean, we just need to vote on it at this point.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right, so let's just vote on this. All in favor of moving forward with this legislation?
Aye.
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 Aye. All right, 4-0. All right, we'll move on to new business. I was not aware that on the Senate side that you guys had to get things in on Monday. So if we're gonna do any more delegation legislation, I guess we'll just be introducing it on the House side. Is that sound right, Senator Reedy?
Probably. I know it snuck up on all of us a little bit. I think so. We could drop it late, but it's probably just want to go through the House. But
If we drop it late as a delegation bill, it stands a better chance of getting out of rules than if we drop it late as a bill sponsored by Senator Reedy.
correct.
Yeah, and it would definitely
As
be
an
a
individual
delegation.
senator, it's different. When we go into rules, if we say, look, it's a delegation bill and we got the information late, they'll probably let it through pretty quick.
Okay, so it's not okay. Got it.
Not the end of the world, although we can decide. We can decide.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
we've got two liquor bills that we've been kind of working on kind of for a while now, but just due to the process, we haven't we're not ready to quite pull the trigger yet. If we're gonna do it, it's gonna be next week. But I just wanted to put on everybody's radar that there's two liquor bills that we've been um talking about. And they came to us so Carroll County only has two distilleries. So we've got Patapsco Distillery down in Sykesville, and then we've got Covalent out in downtown Westminster. And the distilleries, they're asking for two bills. One bill would allow them to sell food and non-alcoholic beverages. Uh, and then the other bill has to do with allowing them to sell other items produced by other Maryland alcohol manufacturers. So, for instance, and Senator Reedy and Delegate Rose are probably thinking, didn't we just hear about this in Frederick? Yes, it's the exact same thing from the Frederick delegation meeting. It would allow the two distilleries to sell not Bud Light, Coors Light, those kind of things. It would allow them to sell something like Johansson's beer if they wanted to sell that, or 1623 down in Eldersburg. They could sell another local manufactured beer or wine or liquor, but not a national beer. So those are two bills that we've been looking at, but we're not, if we're going to pull the trigger, it will be next week. We'll have another Carroll County delegation meeting. We're just kind of trying to work through the appropriate channels behind the scenes with the liquor board, and get that squared away.
So in that case, I think we might only want to drop those in the House, or we could drop them late in the Senate. We'll have to drop them late though, if we don't approve
Yeah.
them today. So But the nice thing is that now we have people sitting, well, we have people in both houses that sit on the relevant alcohol committees, so we should be in good shape to get something through, even if we only file in one house.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you noticed, but we just kind of found out this past week, the statewide alcohol bills are still going through ECM, and it's just the local county
You get the
alcohol
locals.
bills.
I heard something about that, yeah. And
Okay,
then the alcohol bills in the Senate all come to the Finance Committee, which I'm on, so we'll be able to stay in touch and compare notes and figure out what even if we don't have a Senate version, I'm sure we can make it work. So.
okay.
You need to vote on the District Planning Commission bill. I think you just finished the discussion, but there was no vote, right?
He did call a vote. We voted
Mhm.
4-0.
Okay, sorry. There was some.
It's okay.
I'll make sure I'm listed as a yes on that too.
Oh yeah, Josh was on. Yeah, so 5-0. 5-0.
And I just want you to know that since Josh is retiring, I got a person in mind to sit, if we do this, on this planning commission, since he now would have an interest in it. I'm just putting that on the record. Because you don't have a lot to do with your new baby, you know?
I believe we have a letter from a concerned constituent that would like him to not sign up for anything else. I can pass it around.
Yeah.
Tell your wife you get paid $125 a day, apparently. So
I'll volunteer on it.
It's a lot less work than what you got now, I can tell you that.
That doesn't even buy many diapers.
You're right.
do we have did we have anything else for new business?
No, I wanted to throw out there. So Chris and I know that this has come up before from our local, this is the Covalent Spirits request, right, Chris?
Yes.
Yeah, and I have heard that she mentioned that the state group might make a decision asking for that as well statewide, but I think it would be great if we can go ahead, and I think it would make it easier statewide. I mean, for other counties to do it if if we do it, and hopefully Frederick will decide to be okay with that as well. So I think it makes sense and it's good for business. And so that's all. I'll shut up now.
I agree. Good for business.
Well, Chris, Delegate Thompson, was there any other county related things we wanted to bring up?
I have one.
Oh, Delegate Stanko, maybe.
Yep. Good.
Yeah, bring up the Shamrock Farms piece because we haven't done it as a group yet in a public setting. So while we got Commissioner Krebs and Pam on as well, and then for the public. So a couple of things. This information obviously came out very late from the governor's office and the change from the Maryland Stadium Authority. So just for quick background for everyone on, because some of this was even learning for me around how the things move through the formal part of the government before and the state government before, and then how it's rolled through after. So we all learned, obviously, right at the bill drop deadline a day before, the state has abandoned their plan for Shamrock Farms as the training facility for Thoroughbred Race Aid to partner with Pimlico, and it's been moved to Laurel Park. So effectively, 500, 600 acres that the state owns in via the Maryland Stadium Authority today in Southern Carroll County. In that original purchase agreement, Carroll County contributed about $500,000 in funds for the purchase. And the total purchase was about $4.5 million. The reason given was by the Stadium Authority was environmental challenges. To dig into that a little bit, environmental challenges is, I guess, the appropriate word, but it's not. But the real issue was brown trout in a stream, in the river/stream bed that's there, and some issues with the cost to essentially to move the stream is an exorbitant cost of over $100 million, and I guess a bridge wasn't going to be the way the fundamental framework wouldn't have been maneuverable for the training facility. So because it was the deadline, we didn't even have time to meet and pull it all together. We were kind of learning in real time. We have a bill in the House side, and I think I'll let the senator discuss where he's at with it. The senators discuss where they're at with it. But we have a bill that we've all four co-sponsored I guess I'm the lead sponsor on it today. It's enabling legislation to allow the county to purchase the land from the Stadium Authority for the total cost they paid, plus the cost of inflation minus the contribution that was already made by the county. It gives them until 2029, the county till 2029 to make that decision, and then it divides the cost over up to 5 equal payments from the county, so the county doesn't have to burden that cost in 1 year if they choose to do it. It is enabling legislation, so it does not require the county to do that. I think that's a decision that needs to be made by the county commissioners. And I think in a lot of ways, I think it's fair to say that that could even be made, should probably be made by the next Board of Commissioners. So we wanted to make sure that, or as part of a conversation over the next year. So just want to give everyone the context there on why it wasn't done as a delegation bill, because we literally had 24 hours to draft the bill, couldn't do a public hearing ahead of time because it came so late. And if we hadn't got it done in time, we probably wouldn't ended up with even a draft policy in order to get it filed and turned around in time. So we are planning on dropping that, I guess, today. We have everybody co-sponsor on it, but I'll pause there. That's the overarching view. Again, it's enabling legislation. It's not a requirement of the county. And I think at least on the House side, we all felt that the decision shouldn't be made by us, but I also felt that given a response directly from the Stadium Authority, I think this was the key point. So they've stated publicly, which I think is good of them and fair of them, to say that they want to work with the local jurisdiction so Carroll County government to find an outcome that everybody's happy with. But then there also has never been, I asked this specifically, there's no precedent in state history on a situation like this. I also wanted to make sure, and this is a critical part of the way the bill was drafted, that I don't really want to set a state precedent, right? I think this is a local jurisdiction issue for Carroll County, given the way that things have played out. I don't want to hold Prince George's County or Howard County to the same framework. So it's drafted just specifically to the Shamrock Farms location. But I think that that's the most advantageous outcome, and it would transfer. I think a subset of that is if the purchase was made and this gets through, it would transfer all jurisdiction around zoning and full rights to the county, absolutely and unconditionally. So I'll pause there because it's new to not the folks that are on the legislators on the call, but to others that are and to the public. So I'll pause there for questions, the senator's comments as well.
I think it sounds like a great bill. Unfortunately, I would introduce it myself in the Senate, but I have no more availability. So again, I would suggest that if Justin agrees with me, that we introduce it in the Senate, a cross-file as the Senate delegation bill.
Great news. I have already dropped it, and I think you've co-sponsored it, Senator West.
Oh, okay, well, there we go.
We had a very detailed conversation that I'm glad you remembered. No, actually, we want to go ahead and get it dropped. Obviously, we would want a Carroll County delegation letter in the file when we have the testimony. And we assume the commissioners would not have opposition to having the ability to control what happens to that property. But obviously, having their support as well would be nice.
The key is that it's enabling.
It's enabling,
Correct.
sure. Yeah. I mean, they'd have to buy it, and they may not want to buy it, and that's fine. But we want you to have the option. We want the county government, the county, to have the option to buy it, if they'd like to. And if they don't, then maybe we'll continue with the discussion with the state about how the property is used. But at least we'll see how it goes. But hopefully, we can get that bill through because it would give us some more options.
And let me ask
Can we vote it so that we can write the letter of support?
Yeah, I would move that we support this bill as a delegation. So I make the motion favorable.
Second, great
Um,
idea.
I thought you just said that it's being introduced just by yourself and Delegate Stanko. So, but you're
But
looking for
perhaps I wanna-
support from the delegation.
I don't want to write a letter of support from the delegation unless I have a vote.
Yeah,
That's what I was asking. It's
That's
still
all
being
it is.
introduced. It's still being introduced by individuals. You're just asking. We're just going to have a letter. Of
Yeah.
support.
It's not a delegation bill per se, but it affects Carroll County, so the committees of jurisdiction
Yes.
want a delegation letter. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. We can have a vote. Yeah, yeah, can make a motion.
All right, so I motion we support the bill with a letter of support from the delegation. You have a second?
Second.
All right, I think the Delegate Rose was the second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, 5-0.
Can I ask just a question? I mean, it's just in general. If the state kept it, and let's say we didn't, for whatever reason, buy it, or this didn't pass, what are their options? Is it still subject to our zoning, or can they do, what options would they have if
Anything
they
they'd
say
like to,
no?
anything they'd like to do with it within the codified state law, they have zoning priority. Technically, the cap, today it falls under Stadium Authority control. I think that's unlikely to continue from our discussion. The Stadium Authority's initial thought process was to consider looking at many alternatives, including, I think, selling the land to other thoroughbred or other horse industry groups, and then consulting the Carroll County government. I'm of the opinion that I think it's locals better if you all decide you want to do that. And then if for whatever reason, that's why I wanted to make sure it gave you all control over it completely, which would be if you all decide to buy it and then decide that its best case is to be controlled by a thoroughbred racing group or a horse training group, and you decide to repurpose the property or sell the property, then so be it. But right now they have carte blanche to essentially do whatever they want.
The only reason I'm asking, I mean, last year when it was bought, when it was purchased, it was done very, very quickly. I don't even know what the market value is. I mean, it'd be nice to know, is it 4 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 2 million? You know, what's the market of value of that property? And I don't know if they ever did any kind of market analysis. If they bought it from someone that was on the Stadium Authority, or no, I'm sorry, on the somebody, the Rooney family, who is on the racing authority, something to do with thoroughbred horses. So I don't know that they ever even did an evaluation of what the value of the land is. I mean, I don't know if you can find any of that out.
I mean,
Because
they had an appraisal done in like late
oh, they
20.
did.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't know that. And that, so it did appraise,
Yes.
and that was
Yeah.
the
I think it
Maryland
was
Stadium Authority had that.
Yeah, they
Do
did
what?
that. But I think that falls into the timeline of letting you all have until 2029 was the goal of the legislation. So if you choose to do that, do your own appraisal and then determine that it's above, the price is above market, I would imagine 600 acre. I think it's 590 acres. So I think 590 acres probably is well ahead of $4.5 million. But I'll let the appraisers. I'll let you all. I mean, again, that's why, given the rush nature and then more of just the nature of local control and it's your budgets,
No, I
your
appreciate
budget. To give you time. Now, here's a couple things, right? Like, we're in a tight budget year, and I think this is why it's important for us to talk about it as a group today, including with you on and Pam on, is I don't know that they won't come back and say, hey, that helps us with our our larger budget deficit. If you want it, pony up this year, because we want the $4.5 million or $4 million right now. So it's a discussion you all should be having in case they try to amend it to say, hey, we'll give you the option, but we're not going to give you the time. So just something to think through.
Well, what we would also, so this sits on the Stadium Authority balance sheet. Is that what you're telling me?
Today it does.
So it doesn't really help the state budget because it's on their balance sheet. I would assume they'd get the money. I'm not the Stadium Authority. Is that true?
Yeah, but they could move it so like with one line item in the BRFA.
No, but what I'm suggesting is, I mean, we're on a tough budget. We got a tough budget on items too, and I'm just going to say very briefly, one of the reasons we're having tough budget times is because the state has not kept up with school construction funding for the average folks. It's been flat for years, and we've got all these aging buildings that need to be replaced. So we're looking at capital requirements that the state has not kept up for years. So continue to say that, and also roads. You know, we keep talking about Route 26. They want us to contribute to these roads now that we never did in the past, and we haven't, and we're going to have to get it done. It's been asked for almost 3 decades, and we're going to put money in for that. So they've pulled back on the stuff that we would get from them. So we're going to have to accelerate our capital spending to take up for this lack in some of that stuff, especially again school construction and just I'm talking about aging schools. I'm not talking about new seats. So
Hey,
if we
we've
were
got
to
to
do
end
it in
this.
a quick year,
It does allow for one other item. Senator Reedy, correct me on this if I'm wrong around how I'm positioning it, but it does allow for, this has been a new hot thing down here, which is creating a foundation account on behalf of it. So if the county government decides they want to raise money via donation for it, they can. That's happening like DNR last year.
Yeah.
DDA is going to do it this year. So if there's conceptually, if it doesn't have to just be from county donors, but if conceptually you all decided you wanted to raise money from, for example, the horse groups to purchase the property and turn it into something not related, you have, or other, you have it would provide that capability. And there's precedent, a lot of recent precedent for allowing those types of accounts to exist, which historically the state has not liked, for a variety of different reasons. But it would be, I don't know that raising $4.5 million is the easiest thing to do, but it does allow for that option.
And is that something, the bill allows for that option, you're saying? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, your wealth of information. I was just thinking if they wanted a quick turnaround, we might get a bargain on it. The other thing we've been really short on is getting open space money, not open, but those types of grant monies for open space in that area. So I thought, there's a possibility we can make a better deal. But
Guys, we have to end this. We have to end this meeting. We're supposed to be on the floor in 7 minutes, and
thanks for the info.
called over to the speaker's office, and they basically said, "We don't care, end your meeting."
All right.
And I'll see you guys on Monday. I'll be coming a little early.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you. All right,
Thank you.
guys.